In today's world, your telephone, media, calendar, and even internet access can all be housed in a single portable machine, the smartphone. But not too long ago, a different technology was the height of efficiency and organization, the personal digital assistant, perhaps better known as the PDA. Reporting for Demtech.org, this is Melanie Hollick. The rise and fall of the PDA spans only 15 short years. The first PDA was called the Organizer, and it was released in 1984 by Psion. The term personal digital assistant was first used by John Sculley to describe the 1994 Apple Newton. In 1994, the first PDA with mobile phone capabilities was created by IBM. This was followed in 1996 by Nokia's 9000 communicator. Also in 1996, US Robotics unveiled its Palm series. This included the Palm Pilot. Before Palm Pilots, people saw the PDA as a mobile computer. With their introduction, PDAs were redefined as accessories to personal computers, not replacements. PDAs were the late 20th century machine of the future. Features included handwriting recognition, quick responses, portable sizes, and affordable prices. The introduction of mobile phone technology ultimately led to the end of the PDA as it was previously understood and the beginning of the smartphone. So who used these devices and what was their appeal? And is there some task they completed better than your smartphone? I spoke to Computer History Museum curator Chris Garcia to get some insight. Hi, Chris. What was the appeal of PDAs when they first appeared on the market?
In the early 90s, PDAs were an attempt to make your desktop computer available with you at all times. Mm-hmm. And the appeal of that was it would allow you to have to travel with your computer. Even at this point, laptops were not rare, but they were scarcer than they are today. So it was the idea of having a computer that was portable.
How common were PDAs in the 90s?
By the time we got Palm in 96, we had huge numbers of executives wanting to buy it, and that sort of became their sort of touchstone, really, that the idea that you were always in the office, even if you were at home, because you would have your PDA with you.
Why do you think that some companies that were making PAs were more successful than others?
When Palm came about, they knew that they didn't need the top technology that could do everything. They needed just enough to be able to do just enough to make their product usable by a very specific set. Some companies that made it because they had good products, relatively inexpensive, not super cheap, but certainly able to be afforded by the average executive. And they were products that were well marketed. Both Palm and Handspring really made it. The ones that failed, and even that failed after a number of years, were the ones who didn't keep up with the most desired features, in particular the ones that didn't widely incorporate cell phones early enough.
While most teenagers growing up today will barely recognize a Palm Pilot from a Game Boy Color, only 10 years ago it was unusual to see a high-powered business person without a PDA. As stated in a report by the Consumer Electronics Association, 350,000 new PDAs were sold in 2012 alone. Some modern-day technology enthusiasts consider programs like Apple's Siri, Microsoft's Cortana, and Google Now as the new evolution of personal digital assistants. Not everyone shares this point of view.
Siri in particular gets the idea of a personal digital assistant, but it has a completely different connotation than what a PDA in the 90s when, Sculley came up with the term. Mm-hmm. And the reason is that Siri actually helps you do stuff.
Right.
But PDAs were just, to put it kind of bluntly, dumb pieces of technology. Mm-hmm. They were just things that allowed you to do, make calendars, put out memos, send emails. They weren't really amplifying your abilities, giving you new abilities. They were just a set of abilities that were easier to use.
Despite its current status as an obsolete product, it would be difficult to argue that the influence of personal digital assistants isn't present in many of the technologies we use every day.
The explosion in smartphones wasn't just because, people who had PDAs were looking for replacements for them. It was the number of other options it gave them because they could combine both work and home into one single device.
Reporting for Demtech.org, I'm Melanie Hollick.